The true foundation. We are faithfully to build the church on Christ, who He is and what He taught. Here's Gene to explain.
Paul addresses that issue, chapter 3, verses 5 to 6. So what is Apollos? What is Paul? That's a good way to say that, by the way. If you're going to say, what is Apollos? He would say, what is Paul? That would disarm them. He's not promoting himself. They are servants through whom you believed. That's all we were. Each has the role the Lord has given. I planted, using that metaphor of the seed. I planted the seed of the Word. Apollos came along and he watered the seed. But who gave the growth? God gave the growth. He says, you're forgetting one very important thing here. And that is we were just simply instruments in the hand of God to sow the seed, to water the seed, in order that you might, first of all, become believers, and then to grow in Jesus Christ. Paul was committed to this principle of building the church on Christ. And that's why he goes on in verses 9 through 15, where he says, we are God's co-workers. Don't look at us as being separate in our goals. We're co-workers. We all have the same objective. You are God's field. He changes, he moves now from the metaphor of God's field where they planted the seed, watered the seed. He said, you're God's building. He changes metaphors. And he said, according to God's grace that was given to me, again talking about the grace being given to him to become an apostle, as a skilled master builder, I have laid a foundation, and another simply building on it. But each one must be careful how he builds, and he now, I think, generalizes this to all spiritual leaders. Each one must be careful how he builds on it, because no one can lay any other foundation than what has been laid. That's Jesus Christ. And there were some people in Corinth who were trying to lay another foundation. And he goes on to say, if anyone builds on the foundation with gold, silver, costly stones, that's the right thing to do. But you may do it with wood, hay, or straw. And when that happens, each one's work will become obvious, for the day will disclose it, because it will be revealed by fire. The fire will test the quality of each one's work. If anyone's work that he has built survives, he will receive a reward. Won't lose his salvation, but he won't have a reward. He says, if anyone's work is burned up, it will be lost, but he'll be saved, yet it will be like an escape through the fire. So Paul is really simply underscoring that we need to build well as spiritual leaders. Build on God's truth, build with proper motives. And the reflection-response question, how do Paul's words in Ephesians 4:16 relate to what Paul taught here in 1 Corinthians? And here's 4:16 of Corinthians. From him, the whole body, fitted and knit together by every supporting ligament. This applies to all of us. Promotes the growth of the body for building up itself in love by the proper working of each individual part. In other words, what Paul is saying to spiritual leaders, he's saying to every one of us who's a part of the body of Jesus Christ. And love should be the motivating force.